Go to work. We are back once again. The Go to Work radio show, and you already know. Yes, it's next week from last week, and we have the one and only Reverend Shaw, and this is 2020, and it's the first week of December. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, but before I get started, I gotta say, go to work, go to work, go to work.
Class is in session. I'm ringing the bell. Go to
There you
work.
go. There you go.
Absolutely. So today I know we were talking about, yes, it's a lot of wrap up going on for the year and a lot of celebrations and wonderful success stories you want to share.
Oh, no, I'm just saying that, in this time when so many people are going through a lot of discomfort and
Yeah.
just, they're anxious because they don't know where the next meal is coming from. It's time for Christmas. I just want to say that the cast of the Young and the Restless soap opera, Michelle Stafford and all of her co-workers and friends are contributing approximately 500 toys to the NAACP in Inglewood, so that we can get them out to needy families in the area. So I just wanted to give Michelle and all of those people who have contributed, a shout out.
Absolutely. Go to work. I'm giving them a round of applause right now. Absolutely. Thank you so very much. Absolutely. Yes. And that's really neat how quickly that happened too,
Yeah, they gave a call.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine was connected to them, and I know Michelle myself, and she, had heard that I won the presidency for the Inglewood South Bay branch of the NAACP, and basically said, what can we help to do you during this time of Christmas, where so many people are out of work, so many kids are destroyed. They just wanted to be able to help.
Absolutely.
And I just appreciate that.
Absolutely. That's so very beautiful. Great news. And that, as always, we're always talking about moving cultures, community, thinking future forward, and definitely talking about mental health. And now I know we were talking about history before the show, so you want to expound about what we were talking about?
Well, my thing is during this time of COVID, during these holidays when people are stressed out, they're going through so many different emotional changes, that we realize that it is the appropriate response for the situation that we're in. And when you look at the history of mental health in the Black community, it's no wonder that Black people do not gravitate toward the field of psychiatry, especially when it comes to the area of being treated. And, they're even acknowledging on this vaccine that they're trying to give everybody that they're getting pushback from the Black community because Tuskegee and a lot of other experiments have been done on the Black community. And so the Black community is not trusting them. And maybe we should not trust them, because the first time they trick you, it's on them, but the second time it's on us. So we have to make sure that we are being very wise and selective in the treatments, do our research, find out what's going on, because this is what I just want to point out. I'm not an expert. I'm not going to say if the vaccine will work or not. I just don't see the flu vaccine working.
Right.
There was no vaccine that really worked on HIV. There's no vaccine that really worked on H1N1. I mean, so what makes this vaccine so successful when we haven't been able to handle people with the old vaccine?
Absolutely.
You see, so there's a difference between truth and propaganda. And just because you say it with conviction doesn't mean it's so.
Right. Absolutely. So with that in mind, we talk about people that really need to know the difference between, also, although it may be a challenge to figure out if it's a fact or it's opinion, based on is so many people that we show reverence to, and we know that they're well versed in different things. And how do you decipher whether it's a fact or opinion? Yet we know that 9 times out of 10 you can figure it out, but through research and information and delving into the situation. But we have a lot of people we know that do not analyze hardly anything and take everything almost face value without doing any of their homework. And why is that?
Well, the thing is the Bible tells us that my people perish for lack of knowledge. Mm-hmm. And anytime you don't have knowledge, you are susceptible to perish. And so knowledge comes in a lot of different ways. It can come through research. It can come through life experiences. Mm-hmm. It can come through a whole lot of things. For example, I've heard people say, I don't understand the problem that black people have with mental health. Well, heck, it was Dr. Benjamin Rush who said that black people's skin who was dark were akin to leprosy, and the only way you would know if they were cured or smart is if they turned white. Mm. This was the father of psychiatry. Mm-hmm, we had Samuel Cartwright, who said that if black people backtalked, disobeyed, things like that, those were signs of mental illnesses, and actually named an illness for people who ran away from their masters who were in horrendous conditions. Mm-hmm. Exactly. We come up to where the American Psychological Association said that blacks, Native Americans, and Mexicans should never be allowed to have children. I mean, these are the opinions of the so-called experts. And then what people say now, because the past has been so horrendous, they say, well, yeah, but we've come a long ways. No, they haven't. They say that 50%, I think it was a Dr. Sadie, who said that 50% of the medical students believe that black people is less susceptible to pain, that they have their nerve endings are less sensitive, their skin is thicker. So they actually believe that. So, and this is all stuff that is taught. We've had experiments where they were setting up experiments at UCLA to put electrodes in the brains of blacks and Hispanic children. I mean, we've been going through it. And then they saying, by the way, you uneducated people, we get ready to sucker you again. So we're going to create, a campaign that you'll get sucked into. And, look, it's time out for that.
Exactly.
And what makes mental health so different is because they're drugging white kids also. This is more about money than it is about race.
Absolutely. Because we talked about that once before, where they trying to get parents to agree to have their children tested, so that, and if they did, they would give them like $200 on their card, their monthly, not EBT card, but some type of fee. So it was almost like a carrot dangler. And then if the child got put on the medication, then of course, then they would get paid more money. They could figure out some other kind of paperwork that they would fill out. And then, unfortunately, then their child was on this medication. And then, of course, the schools would, I'm not sure if they would get any more money per capita for the students attending the school, because I know it does have to have something to do with it, because also we know that all schools aren't able to service all ailments and so forth. So it's unfortunate. Absolutely. It's a whole vicious economic system in the mental health world for psychiatrists trying to get more patients. that's susceptible.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, absolutely, and that's what it's all about. This is why if you go to the probation system or foster care, any of those type of programs, the kids are drugged in mass numbers. If you look, they want to basically, if you go to get general relief, they're trying to set it up to where you have to have a mental evaluation, which can lead you when you find out that insurance companies will not pay for you to go to any drug rehabilitation center unless you're on psychiatric drug. This is how the system gang up on people. Basically, everywhere you turn, they're doing it. And it's not going to be long before it's mandatory for everybody to get a mental health check. We're going to see the vaccine is going to lead that charge. And then if that works the way they want it to, it'll keep going. This is my opinion. I'm not speaking for CCHR at this moment. I'm just having a conversation with you. And I'm talking about how these things can lead to decisions, because we already faced it when they made it mandatory for the children to take the vaccines. We did not stand up then, which told them that we will not stand up for ourselves. If we won't protect our children, what will we protect?
Right.
And so it keeps going. But again, we're into my opinion, and I don't want people saying CCHR said. No, Reverend Fred Shaw, the NAACP talks sometime, and then sometime I speak for CCHR.
Right.
I'm speaking more in the NAACP realm right now.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Yeah, we wear many hats trying to help to rectify different things. Like they say, we in a couple of phases, whether we're in repairing or preparing or executing a plan. So absolutely, it's a lot of work to do on all levels.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
So, but the thing is that we have to quit. See, what happens to us if we're not careful? Our educated people are connected with a lot of these professional people. These professional people have an agenda. I'm talking about mental health and all of this stuff. Then they spread the campaigns to our learned people, who then spread it to the rest of us. There's no, like, for example, there's been no actual tests to see the effectiveness of electric shock. There's no long range tests to determine most of these medications. In fact, if the treatment is not supposed to be worse than the cure, worse than the disease, then we got to be careful, because all we have to do is look at our television.
Right.
And see the side effects of these drugs.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd rather you leave me with diabetes than to give me a shot that can cause more things worse to me than diabetes.
Right, exactly. That's just common sense.
Exactly.
That's self-preservation.
Exactly. If I'm disciplined enough to eat correctly and exercise 90% of the time, the person can overcome diabetes. Now,
Absolutely.
because we're not willing to do that, they come with all of these medications to do it for us.
Right.
But these things come with side effects that can be worse than the disease.
Yeah.
So we need to look at that.
Absolutely. So what would you suggest, what people's the next step, shall we say? It's so many different, I want to say so many different things at the same time, because, I know some different things at the same time. I want to be one of those learned people, but at the same time, I want to be the voice for some people that would love to be able to speak to you. And I know that they can, because all they have to do is go to CCHRtaskforce.org and communicate with you and get on your newsletter and so forth. But I'm and DM this video as well. But so many different things, because I know that you have so many different hats. You have so much experience from so many different careers, and you're not 100 years old yet, but I want to, if you had someone that you could be, because you mentor a lot of people, but if you want to share something to someone about what you would suggest to them to get started with analyzing information, being more confident about what they're doing in their lives, because we talked last time about their dreams, and they still have to dream and they still have to operate, although the media is trying to project so much fear. What would you say to them?
I tell people to step back and look at the situation for yourself. For example, I do not dispute that Corona-19 is a real virus. I do not dispute that it can kill. What I have a problem with is the fact that at what point, other than the vaccine, are we supposed to find relief? The president went into the hospital, took a particular type of drug, and was out of the hospital in days, back on the campaign trail. Mm-hmm. What are we doing to make those drugs available to anybody that gets sick? Mm-hmm. Why does it have to be the vaccine when I've already seen Bill Gates publicize that he wants to administer 14 billion vaccines? Well, they ask how many coincidences must there be before you realize that something is mathematically impossible to not be set up some kind of way. So I look, there's about 7 billion people. I find out that the vaccine is in 2 different shots. That's 14 billion doses. Everybody on the planet receiving 2 shots. Well, now you're telling me that this thing has already been figured out when we ain't even supposed to have the cure, and within 5 days of the election, we're saying we have 1, maybe 2 vaccines that 90% effective. So it makes me feel like things have been set up somewhat. Mm-hmm. Fauci said that he told Obama in 2016 or 15, he told Trump in either 2016, 17, that we were facing a virus. Then when the virus hit, we blame China. China blames America, which means it's man-made. Well, if it's man-made, then we don't have a pandemic. We have a plandemic.
GoDaWork.
So, and I'm not claiming to be an expert. Everybody, and I say this right here so everybody can do it, you seek your own medical advice, you take your own chances, you do your own research. Don't believe it because it's from me. This is me analyzing and looking at this from a far off point of view, looking at it saying, wait a minute, how can this be true? But let me just tell you, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not an expert in infectious diseases. So I'm just giving you one man's opinion, and then you got to do the rest just like I'm doing it. And if I catch it and don't make it, that's my responsibility. You got to decide on your own for your responsibility. It's not me.
Amen. GoDaWork from the one and only Reverend Fred Shaw. And we want to definitely let you all know that, yes, CCHRtaskforce.org. A task. Exactly. Just like you have a task every day to do as much as you can and to value the time that you have and to help as many people as you can and so much more. That is CCHRtaskforce.org.
And if they want to know about the task force, which you and I and many others are a part of, it's a national task force, just text me at FSHAWJR@yahoo.com. F, like in Fred, SHAWJR@yahoo.com. And then I will see it. Just say Nichelle Farrell's show. go to work. Either one of those, and I'll know it's from somebody from the audience.
Absolutely. All right, go to work, go to work. That was on 20 minutes exactly. So just to know that, I was like, some of these shows be right on the money where we're ending the show is amazing. So with that in mind, I'm going to ring the bell for us and let them know school is out for now, but go do your work. Absolutely. We appreciate you tuning in once again. Thank you, Reverend Shaw. Go to work, go to work, go to work.
Go to work, go to work.
I love it.